Is your church the best kept secret in town? Well, if so, stick around because in this video, we're going to be talking about how to grow a church in a rural area coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris Abbott, and if we're meeting for the first time, I have spent the last several years helping thousands of churches attract thousands of new visitors. And in this video, I specifically want to talk about how to grow a church in a rural area. Now, I've been able to work with a lot of different churches in rural areas, and some of the principles that I'm going to share with you today have helped a lot of small town churches grow, including a church of only 100 people that hadn't had a single visitor in 3 months and grew from 100 to 175 in only 6 months using the exact strategy that I'm about to dive into. So let's get started. All right, so we're about to dive into 4 different tips that you can use in order to grow your church in a rural area. But make sure to stick around to the end because although I'm going to be giving you the step-by-step formula for exactly how to grow your own church, if you'd like to find out how you can work with me and my team and actually have us set this up for you, we'll actually be talking about that at the end of the video. All right, so step number 1 is run a targeted Facebook ad. Now, you may have tried Facebook ads before, and just so we're all on the same page, a Facebook ad is not a boosted post. These are 2 different things, right? So if you actually posted something on your Facebook page and then Facebook came back and said, hey, this post is performing 87% better than all of your other posts, why not put $10 behind it and show it to more people, right? You probably did that, and you may have even thought that was a Facebook ad, but that's actually a little bit different. That's called a boosted post. It's a great way to reach the people inside your church, but if you want to reach people outside your church, you have to run a targeted Facebook ad. And you can do this by going to facebook.com/ads manager. Right? And this is also a great way to find out if you've been running boosted posts or Facebook ads. If you're not sure, just go to facebook.com/ads manager. And on the back end, it'll show you all of the campaigns that you run. So if it's completely empty, then you have not been running Facebook ads. And if all the ones that you've been running are in there, then you know that you have. Either way, what you want to do is you actually want to click on the green button that says create, and then you can set up your very first Facebook ad. The best way to do this is to literally just drop a pin on your church location and then draw out the radius to whatever driving distance is. So in some larger towns, this might be 5 to 10 miles, but if you're in a rural area, driving distance for you might be 20, 30, or even 45 miles. I was working with a church in a small town in Texas not too long ago, and they literally said that people routinely would drive 45 to 60 miles to get to their church. In fact, their church actually had more people in it on Sunday morning than the town did. So the population of the town would triple every single Sunday. So if that's you, just make sure you figure out whatever driving distance is for you, type in the address of your church, and then draw out a radius that's whatever driving distance is of your church. And then as far as the targeting goes, you want to leave this wide open, right? Don't touch it. Just target everyone who lives within driving distance of the church, 18 to 65 plus, right? The goal is that we want people to see your ad multiple times, and we want every single person to know exactly who you are, and we want to invite them to church using Facebook. All right, tip number 2, landing page. Now, when we talk about a landing page, we are not talking about your homepage, and we're not talking about your about page or even your new here page. I'm specifically talking about a plan your visit landing page. Now, this is actually one of the most important steps of everything that we're going to talk about in today's video, because you might be able to get a Facebook ad that a ton of people are seeing and they're clicking on and then they're going to your website. But if they're not making an emotional connection with your church on your landing page, they're just going to hit the back button and they're never going to visit. So the landing page is really important. A couple of tips for the landing page, right? You want to make sure to use lots of pictures, and you want to use bright, happy pictures of smiling, happy people. So no stock photography. Don't go out there and try to find something with a white background that's got a bunch of fake people in it. Make sure to use pictures of actual people in your church, smiling, happy people. So the cool thing is, if you don't have any of these, one, you could probably take some pretty good ones with a smartphone, or you can usually hire a professional photographer to come out on a Sunday morning and snap a couple hundred photos that you can use for your website and for social media, and they'll usually do it for $200 or $300. So don't go trust somebody in your congregation who has a DSLR and fancies themselves a hobby photographer. Actually, just make the small investment, hire a professional, and then you'll have great looking, professionally shot and edited photos that you can use for the next couple of years. Now, something that's really important to understand about your landing page. If your Facebook ad is working, meaning your cost per click is under $1, preferably under 50 cents per click, and if you're in the 30s or less, then you're doing really, really good. So if your ad is performing like that, but nobody's showing up on Sunday, then the problem isn't your ad, the problem is your landing page. So literally just yesterday, I was in a Facebook group and I had a pastor reached out to me and just said, hey Chris, here's the Facebook ad that I'm running. It's connected to this landing page. Man, we've had over 400 clicks, but no visitors and no plan your visits. What do you think's going on? So I took a look at it. In about 30 seconds, I realized exactly what the problem was on his landing page. And I reached out and gave him a couple of tips and recommendations I would do to tweak the landing page. So literally he went home that night, he tweaked the landing page, he made some of those changes. And the next day he hit me up and let me know that within a couple hours, they got their first new family to sign up and schedule an appointment to visit on Sunday morning. That's the power of a landing page. When you do it right, people will connect with it and they'll show up on Sunday. Okay, so before I get to my last two tips, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried Facebook ads before? Did it work? Did it not work? Do you have any questions about Facebook ads or what should go on your landing page? Make sure to put them in the comments below. I promise to read every single one and to answer all of your questions. All right, number 3, plan your visit. Now, if you have followed me for any amount of time, you know that I'm super high on plan your visit and that I talk about it all the time, but that's because I've seen it be so effective at hundreds and hundreds of churches over and over and over again. So when we first started doing this at our church, not only did we increase our first-time visitors, but we also found that it shortened the natural assimilation process because people were coming out for the very first time and they were having a personal connection the very first time they walked on campus. And so while our assimilation process was usually about 3 to 4 months at that point, from the time someone stepped on campus for the very first time to the time they decided to go through next steps and join our church, was typically about 3 to 4 months. But when we started using Plan Your Visit, we found that 80% of people who came through Plan Your Visit joined our church within 3 weeks. So let's talk about what Plan Your Visit is, what it looks like, and how you can launch it at your church. So every year, over 17 million Americans visit church websites and then never do anything and never show up to church. So every single person that goes to your website and doesn't end up coming to church is a missed opportunity. And Plan Your Visit fixes that. Plan Your Visit is just giving someone the opportunity to sign up and schedule an appointment to visit your church. That way you can communicate with them beforehand. You can actually assign a really friendly host to meet them at the front door, show them around, help them get their kids checked into kids' church, introduce them to some key people in the church, and make sure they meet you as the pastor. And you can even sit with them in service. That way they don't feel like the new kid in the cafeteria, because nobody wants to be that guy. Now, my personal favorite way to launch Plan Your Visit on your website is to use a tool like Text in Church. So they actually have a small snippet of code that you can drop onto your website that's going to add a bottom right-hand corner of your website. And when people click that button, they can literally fill out a form and submit their name, email, and phone number. And then you get a notification that John and Jennifer Smith are visiting the church on Sunday. That way you can reach out to them with either a phone call or a text message beforehand, and you can introduce yourself, answer any questions they might have, and tell them how excited you are to meet them on Sunday. All right, and finally, tip number 4, the Monday morning selfie video. I'm a huge fan of this. I've used this at my church. I've coached a lot of churches through this. And again, I've seen it work time and time again. And the reason is because this is just a great way to connect with someone personally and show that you actually care. So it's pretty simple. All you do is whenever you have new visitors on a Sunday morning, the next day on Monday, you simply want to take the Connect card with their information. If it's one person, you're only going to make one video. If it was 3 or 4 people, then you're going to make 3 or 4 videos. And so literally you just take the Connect cards from every single person that visited on Sunday, and you're gonna make a personalized selfie video. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna shoot a selfie video shot vertically on a smartphone, and you're just gonna hold it up and say, hey, what's up, John, Jennifer, it's Pastor Chris here. Man, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for coming to church yesterday. I had a great time getting to know you. I hope your kids, John and Sally, had a great time back in our youth ministry. And so I just wanted to thank you for coming and invite you back out next week. We're doing it again, same time, same place. Can you make it? So when you do this and you create that personal connection, now you're going the extra mile and people can tell. They will be blown away that you took time out of your busy schedule on a Monday morning to text them and actually make a selfie video for them. Make sure you use their first names. If they have kids, make sure you use the name of their kids. And again, just thank them for coming and then invite them out next week, and make sure you end it with a question, right? So you want to say, hey, we're doing it again next week, man, 10 o'clock. Can you make it? Right? End it with the question, because that's going to open a loop in their brain and they're going to read it. Then they're probably going to show it to their spouse, like, I can't believe Pastor Chris just made this video. And then they're going to respond, and they're either going to say, yes, we'll be there, or they're going to say, shoot, we're going to be out of town, but we'll be there next Sunday, right? But either way, we're getting them to commit to coming, or maybe to commit to coming to a Sunday in the future. Right? This is a really, really powerful thing. And if you do this, you're gonna be shocked at the responses you get from every single person you send the video to. Okay, so if you listen to everything we just talked about and you either don't have time to go execute something like this, or you just don't want to go learn a new thing, then head on over to churchgrowthagency.com or click on the link in the description below, and let's have a conversation about what this might look like to partner together to have me and my team set it up for you. We'll see you soon.